Hello and welcome to a couple of Switch, where today we're finally doing the updated Anubismon BT13 deck profile. As you could see, very requested, like a huge amount for some reason. But I'm here to give the people what they want, and that is Anubismon. I playtested this deck quite a lot, I made a lot of content on the channel about it, and it's finally time to reveal what at least I think is the most straightforward and best version of the draw and discard version of Anubismon. In my opinion, the small changes I made from the previous deck profile on the channel has made this deck feel far more consistent and far more easy to actually make the combo pop off. But just as the Alter S deck profile, I'm going to show you some variations and some suggestions of different cards that you can use in the deck. And I'll also be doing a BT14 upgrade guide as well, with a little BT14 combo of course. But hey, let's get into it. Starting with the eggs, we're playing a purple deck. We're playing Demimeramon. Of course, we want to draw and discard. Though I actually have an interesting suggestion for an alternative egg, because what we technically want to do with the deck is pop out the Anubismon from the breeding to do the entire combo. Therefore, Demimeramon technically doesn't really do anything as soon as it's a part of the actual combo stack that makes you go for a game. He's mostly used for the combination of, attacking with a rookie into your opponent's security for you to draw and discard a card, especially with the Anubismon. So it's great for the early game for you to cycle into your more important pieces. But the Demimeramon's usability in this deck does fall off the further you get into the end game of the deck. Moving into the rookies, we play a playset of Ignitemon. I've gone on and on about this boy, this amazing boy, amazing inheritable, amazing when attacking. He is the one we want in our Anubis deck to gain that memory when we play a Digimon with an effect. His one attacking ability is incredible, making us be able to actually continue the combo in case one of the Gisus doesn't actually die, since we can swing with him and pop. So he's a great target for a reanimation if we already have a Gisu on field to start the combo with. Overall, an amazing purple card that we can't live without. And talking about amazing cards, I play 2 copies of the amazing, lovely Tapir Boy. Since my Beelstar days, I've not stopped loving this boy. He's such an incredible little guy. On deletion, trigger draw 1, not really that special, but in combination with the Demimeramon, he's on deletion in combination with the Gizmon AT to destroy him, to draw and discard, and draw 2, discard 2, is just incredible. That's what he's here for. Otherwise, just decently just hits into the security that draws 2 cards. While I currently play him at 2, I do see a good reason to actually play more copies, maybe even a playset if you want to more lean into the fact that you want to destroy him with the AT. He's doing that on your second turn, really makes you dig deep early, especially in combination with the Underworld's Call. But for now, I think just having a little bit of a toolbox feels pretty good, because I also play 2 copies of Labramon. On play, trigger draw 1, trash 1. And now, I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. I have actually considered changing Labramon to Sistermon Blanc. The only reason I actually play the Labramon in the deck, as it is right now, is that if we have the entire Anubis combo available on hand, the entire stack, though the only rookie is a Labramon, it feels pretty good being able to just evolve into racing. Sure, we do not get the incredible inheritable of Ignitemon, but if it was Sistermon Blanc instead, we wouldn't be able to do that, and it would be very awkward sometimes. Though, Sistermon Blanc costs just as much to play out on the field. On play, we trash 1 card to draw 2. That's actually twice the draw power. And if we were to trash an Underworld's Call to the Blank's effect, we would actually draw 3 cards. And yeah, that's pretty good. And keep in note, Anubismon's effect does not specify color, so he could reanimate Sistermon Blancs as well. But as I said, as for now, Labramon is staying in the deck just because I really want that consistency of hitting the rookie for the egg when it's time to go into the combo. But Blanc seems to be pretty good in the deck in my opinion. Moving into the level 4s, I play 3 copies of Ginkakumon. the originator of the draw and discard engine from BT6 along with Promote and Kinkaku. Here's is used for the fact that when we go into the Blue Maramon, we draw and discard, so we can immediately get 1 memory back, making him just 2 cost. So he is our ideal level 4 for the combo stack. And then I play 3 copies of Anubismon Scatter Mode and 1 copy of the one-off Anubismon. Anubismon is a great draw and discard engine. If we find him in our starting hand and nothing else really to do, just hard slamming him sometimes is pretty good, just to get that draw and discard going so we can just move closer to our combo. And Anubismon, obviously, he's nuts, disgusting, really good. Can be used in many different crazy combinations in this deck to gain surprise lethals or otherwise a surprise stack, building the Anubis stack out on field instead. I decided to go down 1 Anubismon Scatter Mode because I needed 1 more space for an option card. If you want to play the Anubismon at 4, go ahead, I don't blame you. I just always feel like I hit my level 4s when I need it, because early in the game I don't really care if I see them, since it's actually more important to go to play the AT and the XT or a boost of any kind. So you will find these boys eventually. Then I play a playset of Blue Maramon. Great card, absolutely perfect in this deck. When Digivolving, draw 2, discard 2, just as we want it. Inheritable, when you play a Digimon effect, gain 1 memory. We immediately get that memory back when we go into the Anubis and executing the combos, making him cheaper. So the ideal stack will technically gain us 3 memory, making the Anubismon evolution free. And that's very important overall with this deck, and the focus I'm going with it right now is that you want to establish the Anubismon combo as quickly as possible, because the BT13 meta is so disgustingly fast and it's annoying me so much. Like, we do not really have that much time to just sit back and just set up. Like, there are many situations where, like, on round 3 or 4, that either we are dead or we're set up to die the round after. And by that point, we need to do something, or at least try to assemble the combo right there and then. Moving into our special boys, I play a playset of Proto Gizemon, a playset of Gizemon AT, and a playset of Gizemon XT. Hey, real cards this time, no samples. These are, as well as the Anubismon, your main boys of the deck. These are the guys that is part of your technically infinite combo, where you can continually smashing your opponent's security with the Digimon that has rush as long as it dies. Since you put 2 of them back, or the XT just craps out the Proto Gizemon for free. So technically, if you draw your entire deck and you've discarded a bunch of these, and you can just keep smashing them into your opponent's security, you can keep putting them back, keep drawing them to discard and then play them out. So with a bit of skill, you can go infinite if they have infinite security. And then, of course, I play a playset of the main guy himself, Anubismon. Amazing. When Digivolving, you may play a level 3 Digimon card from your trash without paying its memory cost, and every card that gets played from the trash gains rush. And obviously what we want to play with is the Proto Gizemon. When it dies, it plays the AT, and when that dies, it plays the XT. Pretty simple. And now for one of the more important changes to the deck, a playset of Needhog. Like, you need a playset of Needhog in the deck. It's mandatory, because I do not play any Tamers in the deck. We do not have any time to slam down an expensive Tamers that makes us able to go up to 3 memory just because our opponent keeps choking us or whatever. Because if we have to spend an entire turn doing that, we're already dead. What Needhogs enables us to do is that while we're just doing our normal things, you know, drawing, discarding cards, we can gain memory along the way. So not only do we gain 3 memory back with the perfect stack, we draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards. And then when the reanimation effect with Anubismon happens, we reanimate the Proto Gizemon, we draw and discard a card. So that's 3 opportunities to discard a Needhogmon. So in total, we could technically gain during that segment 6 memory. that will enable us to keep turn. The problem with Needhog is that less copies you have of him in the deck, the more worthless he is, because you really want to combo off by having multiple copies in your hand when you start discarding them. Getting so many in your hand as possible for you to discard them, and then you can immediately pick them back with the Calling from the Darkness is pretty good. Moving on to the option cards, we do actually have a lot of them. First, I play 2 copies of Underworld's Call. Great card. What I love about it the most is the fact that there's so many different uses for it. Like if it's a dead card in hand, you just discard it to draw 1. If you're stuck and you have like an AT or an Anubismon in the trash, you can play the Underworld's Call to bring them out for free. And let me tell you, the amount of time it has mattered that the Underworld's Call is in the security. I resurrected an AT and then I discard some Needhogs to pass turn. Mwah, amazing, really good. I think this card is a super keep, and I think it will get better as time goes and we get more powerful draw and discard cards in the deck. Since the better level 4s and 3s we have in the deck, the more powerful this effect technically is. And in BT14 there's a new card coming out called Pommel Whack that has the same effect, that if you discard it you draw 1, instead it costs 3 and you can destroy a level 4 and lower with it. I think it sucks. Like, we do not have any good use of that in my opinion. I could see this actually being at 3, not only for the fact that it's good to discard to draw cards to keep cycling through the deck, but the increased certainty of it being security or actually using it from the hand for its effect. And as I explained in the combo video, the necessity of actually playing option cards that destroy your own creatures this deck is really important. So I play 2 copies of Deathclaw, 2 copies of Demonic Disaster, and of course the one of Calling from the Darkness. Incredible consistency cards that enables us to keep going with the combos. All of them have different varying of effects. Deathclaw deleting something, Demonic Disaster unsuspending something by deleting something, which sometimes really matters because it enables us to do multiple hits with it, and Calling, a really good consistent card, getting pieces back to our hand that we need while destroying something, which we like doing. And then I play 1 copy of Night Raid, and I think this is your hybrid for game essentially. You pay 2, you resurrect a level 3, it got rushed because of Anubis, you hit for game. And you can also do a pretty sweet thing with the Ignitemon. You play the Night Raid, get him out, you smash, you destroy one of your tapped AT or XT that didn't die in the security for you to bring out the next stage and you get another hit in. Great. And lastly, I play 3 copies of Mist Memory Boost. And yes, but I made some arguments before that maybe playing the purple Memories Boost is better since you actually get access to see more cards for your missing pieces. But I don't know. I think Mist Memory Boost probably does more for the deck considering get 2 things in your trash and you get to draw a card. Like if you just manage to get one of the Gisus in the trash with this effect while drawing a card that you need, you are flying. But I could also see this card going up to 4, because just as the Needhog, it's a really good card for that really needed memory gain for you to pop off that turn, and just getting 1 Mist Memory Boost out on the field, having 1 of these and 1 Needhog on hand is probably going to be enough for you to keep turn with the Anubismon combo. But the more copies of Mist Memory Boost on the field before you pop off, the more easier, more flexible you can be with your combo, making you be able to use the Night Raid, additional option cards and so forth. So yeah, that's my deck profile of Anubismon. I hope I could at least present some convincing arguments why I think this is probably the best draw and discard version of this deck. I think the next step of Anubismon for me is checking out if there's any way to make a good mill version of it. Ever since that Lily Floop deck won a big tournament, I've been really curious if Anubismon can use that engine along with the Gizumons to just absolutely pop off. Like, it seems like a very fun idea, though I think this will be my main version of Anubismon because I'm never gonna get tired of the BT6 draw and discard engine that's in this deck. I think it's lovely, and I think Bandai should really improve on it. Like, it's so fun. Make more cards with discard effects. It's fun. You don't really need to make it that OP. Please. So now let's look at some alternative cards that you can use in this deck, and some cards I sometimes shift out cards for, you know, just to test out if it works or not. The first one being the Anubismon from BT6, the original card that you used for the draw and discard mechanic. Your turn once per turn, when you trash a card in your hand using one of your effects, trigger draw 1. And this is what I meant with the thing I said in the beginning with the Demimeramon, that as soon as you actually pop off with the combo with Anubismon, you actually do not need the Demimeramon anymore. But this card though actually makes you draw an additional card while you do the combo. So I do actually like this card, especially if you really plan around it, since like if you evolve into a rookie on this, hard slam an Icemon, next turn you promote, you smash with the Icemon, you draw 3, discard 2, then you draw an additional card with this one, but all of the times you do actually evolve like an Icemon on the Digimon in your breeding zone, and then you smash and it dies. Not having the Demimeramon then feels very stale, since then the egg really doesn't do anything at all. And just as I said, I think Blanc is actually a pretty good choice for the deck instead of the Labra. Like a 2-off, probably pretty good. Like I said, in combination with the Underworld's Call, if we discard it with her effect, we actually draw 3 cards, and just hard playing a rookie at 3 cost to draw 3 is pretty amazing in my opinion. So I can actually see Blanc be played more in a version of the deck where like the entire point of the deck is just getting the perfect stack and not really caring to get out the stack as quickly as possible. This is one of the better cards for you to actually just play to draw cards. Because let's say you play System on Blanc, trash the Underworld's Call, draw 3 cards, then you explode her with an AT, then you draw 2, discard 2. That's 5 cards deep into the deck, pretty good. And then, let's say you actually want to play Tamers, and I think my decision not to is wrong. The question is actually, what Tamers do we actually play in that case? Because I think the best choice would be Matt. Like, he's a good memory setter, he returns a purple Digimon card or purple option card from your touch to your hand, which is decent. Like, if he pops out of security, you're gonna have a good time, but the problem is early game, just smashing him down onto field, not picking up really anything from the trash feels bad. Wasting time and not drawing and discarding those cards feels bad. Like in the beginning, I saw people in Japan play like the 2-cost Mimi in the deck, and I don't really get it. Like, you tap it to like gain a memory back when you play one of your option cards that kills your own things. Sure, it does disrupts the fact that you can gain a memory when your opponent plays an option card, but in that case, in my opinion, Matt Ishida from the first purple starter deck is just better, since he just procs by the fact that the Digimon gets deleted and you gain 1 memory of that. Like, we don't need to use an option card to proc that memory gain. Like, the entire point of the deck is for the creatures to die, so if you just smash into the security, it dies, you gain a memory, you kill it with an option, you gain a memory. Like, Mimi feels pretty redundant in that case. So I did actually try out the starter deck one quite a while. It's decent. When it came out on field, it gave me 1 memory here and there that made me be able to use an option card later in the combo for me to actually gain lethal. It's decent, but I did remove him to fit the Needhogs. Then if you want to play a removal card, I think the best one is Def the Cannon, because what I actually like about this card is wherever the scenario, wherever this card is in your deck, it's a pretty good card. You draw your entire deck, you'll find it. If it's in your security, that's good, free value. And if you mill it with the missed memory boost, you actually get to take it to your hand since you mill it from your deck. So it's a very flexible card. It's a good one-off in the deck, because like I said, you will find it or it will find you. So if you think it's just important to have like a one-off interaction, either for you know, to have that one scenario where it's insecurity and your opponent goes balls to the walls with 1 creature on the field and you just kill it and it destroys the entire game plan, having 1 copy is not bad. And talking about that, since we actually do play a deck that tries to draw the entire deck, just playing 1 copy of Defex in the deck is not bad. It's a good card. If we draw it, we'll be happy. Like, it's a good backup plan in case anything happens. Though, like I've said before, I think Anubismon is the best budget deck there is currently in the Digimon card game, and just adding a card that technically is probably worth more than like 10 times the entire deck does defeat the purpose of it, in my opinion. Like, it's a good card, Defex is a good card, but you know, you really don't need Defex in the deck, like, come on. It's a good card, I can see it's a good card. Add it to the deck if you think it will help you to stay alive more often. But I only have 2 Defexes. They have a good place in my Beelstar and my Ophani Loop. 1 copy each. And that's where they're gonna stay, in my opinion. So, let's get into the BT14 upgrades that's actually coming. Because the BT14, like I mentioned with the Pommel Whack, they've actually printed some more draw and discard matters card for once. Reminiscent of the old BT6 draw and discard tribal. So we have a new Goblimon that has an inheritable. When a card is trashed from your hand by one of your effects, gain 1 memory. And Ogremon that has your turn. When a card is trashed from your hand, gain a memory. Both as a main and inheritable effect. So what's actually super interesting with the Ogremon is the fact that it's just a power crept version of Ginkakumon. He got the same inheritable, same play cost, same evolution cost, and same DP. The only difference is that Ogremon has an additional, when a card is trashed from your hand by one of your effects, gain a memory as a main effect. Meaning that he can technically enable 1 more memory gain during your combo. And that can actually be very huge. Therefore, Ginkakumon is getting thrown out. He's been power crept and is gonna be 100% replaced by the Ogremon. The Goblimon, however, is a different story. I really don't know what to do with him right now, but the fact of the matter is that the Ignitemons effect, when you play a Digimon by an effect to gain a memory, technically only procs once he gets to the Anubismon, while the Goblimon procs at just the Blue Marimon, making you be able to gain memory earlier on in the chains, which in certain times makes a big difference. But what's also very different here is that if Goblimon is a part of the Ogremon stack, and like this is just a clean stack out on the field, you do not have the entire combo on hand as of right now, you could technically just gain a bunch of memory while doing Gisu shenanigans, which would enable you to extend your turns to draw and discard more cards. So I actually think this can be very huge for the deck. And just to prove it, let me just do a little demonstration. So just to make this easy for me, this is the board state. We currently have a Proto Gisumon out on the field, we have the Ogremon in breeding, and we have a bunch of Gisus in the trash. So let's say, for example, their opponent puts us to 1, as they should, always. We promote the Ogremon into the battlefield. So let's just simply hit with Proto-Gisumon into our opponent's security, and boom, the Proto dies. Triggers on deletion effect, Proto, and XT to the bottom of the deck. To play out AT for free. Triggers on play effect, draw 2. Discard 2, discarding a Ginkakumon and an Ignitemon. To Sunemon effect, since we trust a card in your hand using one of your effects, we draw 1. Goblimon, we gain a memory. Ogremon, we gain a memory. And it's crazy the fact that such a tiny change does so much for the deck, because from here we pretty much have it. So Ogremon will evolve into the Blue Marimon for free, going to 0, draw. Effect, draw 2. Discard 2, discarding 2 Proto-Gisumons. Ogremon effect, when a card is trashed from your hand by one of your effects, gain a memory, going to 1. We'll then evolve Blue Marimon into Anubismon for free, going to 2, draw. Doing effect, resurrecting Proto-Gisumon. Since we played a Digimon with an effect, Blue Marimon gains us a memory. Proto-Gisumon effect, we draw 1. discard 1, and we'll discard a Needhog to gain 1 memory, keeping turn. As you can see, it does enable us to pop off far easier with the combo using far less resources in our deck. And there's far more different kind of small little micro interaction and combos you can do with these cards. Because it enables us to push the tempo for us to go into Anubismon as quickly as possible. And there's another funny little interaction I like that the Ogremon actually can create. And it's that if our opponents hits into Underworld's Call into our security, and we now can bring out the Ogremon, we technically can now, on our next turn, use him as our stepping stone of going into Anubismon, since he just automatically gains us an additional memory during our combo, which can be huge. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this deck profile and small little combo here at the end. What I really want to encourage this time is that people actually write down in the comments how we continue to improve the Anubismon deck. I want to hear how you build this deck, because I'm interested in actually making this deck as good as possible, because it's really fun, it's really creative, it's one of the, what I think, one of the few non-meta decks that actually uses the card game to its maximum potential without actually being a part of a Bandai's chosen archetype, which is really fun. But remember to always leave a like, a subscribe, a comment down below, and have a great day now. Bye bye!